Right, so this is from a poll that I did last year. It's called, what are your least favorite film industry phrases? And here are my answers, but I have not read since last year, so let's see. Number one, why doesn't this raw footage look like the on-set monitor? I get that all the time. Clients that don't know that on-set monitors have LUTs and think that what they're seeing on set is what they're going to see in the raw version of the edit without color, when they asked for it to be shot in RAW, which it should be shot in RAW, but color's not going to be in RAW unless you put a LUT on it, which it negates the purpose of doing RAW and showing them a RAW cut. But I understand that you probably should put a LUT on when you show them that. It's just an extra step that sometimes you don't have time for. And being a colorist, I don't like doing that because there's a reason why you don't just slap a LUT on the whole timeline. Number two, sorry, the client has gone in a different directions. We will definitely let you know about the next one. This is something that you will hear often from clients that ghost you and don't return your emails, or do return your emails to give you this stock fucking email response that is bullshit. Number three, wardrobe didn't have anything without stripes. If you have tight stripes and digital camera days, you're gonna get moire, which is just this weird camera visual thing that happens. Sometimes you can see it on set, sometimes you don't see it until you get into post. You definitely see it if you have like sharpening on your monitor or something like that. It's one of those mystery things of our industry. You just have weird fucking glitchy lines these days with modern cameras. It's something that a lot of the times visually, if it's a tight stripe, you can tell it's going to be an issue. Sometimes you don't know until you see it. Always try to tell your clients no tight stripes, and they're going to say why, and then show them the footage and then be like, that's why. Dumb person. Number four, now that we are set up for a single camera close-up, can we also shoot a wide at the same time? Yeah, this happens a lot. It's usually on agency shoots when you have like 7 producers who are from the studio who basically don't do anything other than sit at their little producer table and check emails all day and then randomly chime in on something that could have been discussed prior to getting there on set, or when we were setting up, or when we did the pre-pro while we were setting up, or before we started to roll. But yeah, adding shots that completely change what the shot is normally a situation when you set up for a close-up. So that means you can put lights closer, you don't see a lot of the background, so it doesn't really matter, so you don't have to fix it up, and you're ready to shoot. Whereas if you were setting up for a wide shot, you'd probably have to do a lot more tweaking in the background, making sure you don't see anything, making sure things are cleaned up. Sometimes you don't have the time to do. Sometimes you don't have the crew to do. Sometimes you don't have both. Even when you do have time and the crew to do those things, there's a reason you didn't do them. There are a lot of reasons. Basically, it's a situation where it should have been brought up before. I can fix it now, but it's going to take this amount of time to do so. Why is it gonna take that much time? Because you should have fucking said so beforehand, that's why. Next one, blah, blah, blah. Call sheets will be out no later than 72 hours. Yeah, I get this a lot, and then they don't go out until like the night before at 11 p.m. Call sheets should be done days prior to the shoot, so you have time to figure out, especially if you're in charge of a crew, you need to let that whole crew know those times. If there's an issue, you need to fix it. You need to have time to fix all those things. General professionalism, like things should have gone out prior to 72 hours. And if they have not, and if they've gone out the night before, you're fucking... I produce a lot of stuff, so don't give me that shit about things change. Yeah, I know things change, and when they change, update that schedule, but that schedule should have already been out, or at least a basic part of that schedule should have already been out. Maybe that's why I run my productions differently. I don't know. And the last one, now that your invoice is over 30 days, here's a thing we forgot to mention to get you into our payroll. A lot of times companies with payroll are notorious for doing things worse than independent companies that are run by one person. If you've got a big company and a big corporation that has a payroll system and you have to go through all the bells and whistles of putting in your bank information and stuff like that, fine. Tell me that though prior to me coming on set. If you haven't, tell me that when we're on set before we wrap and I leave and I don't talk to you for the next month. Don't tell me that when your invoice is due in 30 days. And then you tell me, oh yeah, by the way, I had to do this recently with a very big, one of the biggest companies in the world who owns most of media, and it took about 4 months to get paid because excuse after excuse about payroll and about accounting and about the 7 different websites I had to sign into to change different information about all that shit. So, yeah. Unfortunately, the bigger you get, the more bullshit headache you're probably gonna have to deal with when it comes to getting paid. And that just doesn't make any sense to anyone, but here we are. So that's yeah, those were the least favorite film industry phrases. I know people just added 1 or 2. Don't ask me a question like that and expect me to only add 1 or 2 though.